about it. I think that is great because Syracuse need a change. We had changes here with different things. So the bus company is going to be very convenient because we do not have a facility to go to the bathroom.
I hate the bus stop. I truly do. Yes, I'm so glad they're moving it because I work in the building behind me and I park in the garage now, but I used to park 5 blocks that way, and walking through this bus traffic is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I hate the people, especially during school. The kids just gang out here. You have the cops, girl fights. I got involved in the middle of one and got knocked on my ass, and the cops, I just hate it. Absolutely hate it.
I would assume if they moved the bus stop down there, probably some of those buildings and those spaces, those storefronts that aren't being in use right now might bring more of an economy to that block down there.
Everything gonna benefit and they're gonna be better. I love Centro and I hope Centro continue to go on.
It's bad enough waiting for a bus on a rainy day, but when the famous Syracuse winters set in, it gets a whole lot worse.
It's cold, it's very windy in the winter time around here.
Trying to cover the place up being heated.
According to Centro, their bus transfer point in downtown Syracuse serves 5,000 to 8,000 riders per week. Currently, all of those passengers have to face the 120 inches of snow Syracuse averages every winter. In August, Centro began construction of a roof building, which once open will bring an end to passengers having to wait outside to catch a bus.
The bus depot moved from this corner at the intersection of Salina and Fayette, where it's been since the mid-1800s, to this one on the corner of Salina and Harrison Street, just 3 blocks away. Passengers say though the move will be small in proximity, the new covered bus depot will be a big plus to them in the cold Syracuse winters.
It would work quite well if they'd have the transfer station where the buses pull in, line up, everybody gets on their bus.
In a phone interview, Centro's executive director, Frank Kobliski, said the new transportation center will have features that include a heated and air-conditioned waiting room, windscreens to protect passengers while boarding their bus, and of course, the tiered roof that will allow in sunlight but not rain or snow, along with several other amenities. Centro riders were excited about the prospect of the new covered bus station.
I'm sure that's going to be wonderful. An indoor bus depot is what this city really needs.
The new bus depot is scheduled to open in April, but until then, Centro riders will have to endure one more winter out in the cold. Chip Angeles, NCC News.
The Baldwinsville Bus. It runs from downtown Syracuse to Route 31 and Spruce Street in Beeville. Of the proposed Centro cuts, this route might lose midday trips, so I hopped on a midday bus. It's not certain yet that this 1110 bus will be cut, but what I saw were a lot of empty seats and a half dozen people. I still decided to see what the passengers had to say. Tony Dillia rides the bus every day to get to work, but he says he can find another way to get there.
I'll probably have to resort to my bike.
Others rely on this bus to get around.
And if they cut the midday trip to 12:15, I rely on this bus for appointments because I work 1:30 to 10. I would lose out on having to go to doctors.
And sometimes I'm on this bus, the 1110 bus, 2 Baldwins.
So what happens if they cut this bus?
I'm not going to have any way to commute back and forth.
And I've been living there for about 2 years, and the bus line is scarce. And they need more buses.
The last stop. While there were only about a dozen people on the bus during the entire trip, most of the people who rode the Baldwinsville bus actually needed to be on it. For NCC News, I'm Alex Zuckerman.
For a lot of people in Syracuse, public transportation is essential. They rely on it to get to and from their jobs and many other places. But soon it may be harder for people to rely on such services. The Central Regional Transportation Authority is planning to combine or get rid of some Central bus services in Onondaga and Cayuga counties. The bus company is looking to consolidate 4 Auburn-Syracuse routes into 2, eliminate one between Fairmont and Syracuse, as well as combine a Cicero and Syracuse route. The reduction in bus services would affect between 50 and 100 Centro customers and would go into effect on January 17th of next year if the move passes the company's board of directors. The reason for the cut is a lack of state aid and revenue. Executive Director of the Transportation Authority, Frank Kobliski, claims the company has no choice. He says, "We have run out of options. Unless there is a significant shift in policy at the New York State level towards funding of public transit, we will be forced to resize many services accordingly in 2011. Centro is slated to receive $1.8 million less in state aid this year than it got 3 years ago. This is pretty important considering the aid accounts for half of the company's revenue. However, Kobliski says the progress on the downtown Syracuse transit hub will not be affected.
Bus riders have been waiting over a decade for the hub at Fayette and Salina to move, and only now is it finally on the way. Centro's communications director Steve Cagle says the wait frustrated them too.
We had thought that by now we would be a little closer to construction. The delays were not fun on our end either.
And Cagle says it's not just about Centro. The move will be good for the downtown as a whole.
We want to be off Fayette and Salina, so when people drive down the heart of Syracuse, they're not, stuck behind 4 buses in a lineup.
So here's where the new bus stop is going to be, right at the corners of Salina, Adams, and Warren Streets. It's going to be indoors, which will be great on a cool, windy day like today. It's actually not too far from the center of downtown. Where the buses congregate right now is just down Salina about 2 or 3 blocks. But the general consensus seems to be that bringing the buses here is going to mean a heck of a lot more development back there.
Many of the developers that we talked to had trepidation about putting money and investing because of the traffic congestion and the numbers of people. That has hindered the redevelopment of that part of South Salina Street.
When we move to where we're going to move, then the heart of downtown, I guess, will become more inviting.
And even though the new stop won't be done for another year and a half,
then again, I always remember my grandma saying, the best things come to those who wait.
And that wait may soon be over. Tyler King, NCC News.
basically like a good little friendship. Other than that, it's on time. They get you there when you're supposed to. But like I said, don't miss it because you got to wait a whole hour. And that's the only thing I don't like.
I have a car, but it's cheaper to go by bus, and I seem to get where I want to go mostly anyways, except for shopping. Otherwise, I don't love it. I say it's okay. Leave the driving to someone else.
If there weren't the bus, what would you take?
My feet. I'll walk.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's good that there's...
So yeah, definitely it's good. It's definitely good that there's a bus, especially when things like that happen. The guy ran across the street to talk to one of the bus drivers, and all of a sudden he ran back across the street, didn't pay attention. The lady's light was green, and he ran out in front of her, and she whacked him.
Wow.
And it wasn't her fault, you know.
Why did he want to talk to the bus driver?
Probably to get a bus transfer. Probably didn't have the money to get on a bus. You never know. Nowadays, you never know.
The buses are too short, number one. They're not wide enough. They don't keep up with codes of your wheelchairs, you know? And I think that's a big thing. I think they should.
Oh God, I'm all over. Even though I'm handicapped. I go to our pace, you know, down on East Brighton Ave, where they take care of me and all that.
How is riding the bus with the walker?
Oh, well, it's a little difficult, but they usually put the lift up for me.
Are the bus drivers helpful?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Bus drivers bring their problems to work with them, and they shouldn't. These are problems out on the street. You got a job to do, you know? You don't have to yell at people, you don't have to swear at people, cuss, oh, I'm gonna throw you off the bus, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know? For what? What good is that to?
And is there a bus driver that you like?
Well, it's this particular bus. They have two different bus drivers, and they both friendly. They do what they're supposed to do. They get you there on time. They have a conversation with you, ask you how you're doing, have a good day, and stuff like that.
Got a nickname for her. She's rough. She rides really rough. You got to hang on to your seat, and she's a tiger. She yells at people, and she's pretty good.
Oh God, I got a lot of bus drivers, and every time I go out, they're always waving to me, because I ride them so much, and I rode them to work all the time too.
I like them all because they all have a sense of humor. It's good that all the drivers have sense of humor.
You know, it's clean. It's better than New York City. It's nice and clean, comfortable. And all you do is pay your fare, sit and relax, and they do the rest. So it's nice. I enjoy it.
Mrs. Tremblay takes bus route 78 to Fairmount every day to go to work. This is one of the routes that Centro is planning to eliminate. For Tremblay, this would mean having to walk further to catch a different bus that would take her to her destination.
I can hardly walk down the little street that I do now in order to get to Montrose. When I have to walk further, it's going to be even worse.
Tremblay fears that walking on the slippery roads in the winter can lead her to have an accident.
Oh, I have a bad back. And if I fall down, there goes some more bones.
The bus service cuts would take place January next year, and it would affect from 50 to 100 customers. Centro will be holding hearings where the public can go voice their concerns about the cuts.
Centro officials say they are aware of the inconveniences that the cuts will cause to some of their clients.
It's difficult to tell anybody that their transportation that they've relied on for months or years is no longer going to be available.
The change of state government that will take place next year does not give Centro hope of receiving more funding.
Governor-elect Cuomo has been very vocal in his ideas of perhaps further cutting spending. So I don't think we have any illusions that additional spending will come our way.
Centro foresees greater cuts in April if its economic situation does not improve. Bianca Grelo, NCC News.
Hi, Lisa. Well, you know, this really has been in the talking stages and planning stages for decades. But now, as of today, Centro's new $18.8 million bus hub is open for business. Now, we're going to give you a quick idea of what this looks like here. This hub features a new indoor waiting area along with a boarding area which is covered by a large roof or awning. So riders really won't have to endure the weather like they did at the former hub, which was located at the intersection of Fayette and Salina Street, about 3 blocks north of here. So now, every day, about 12,000 riders will board approximately 750 buses here. Now, since this is the first day, there have been some confusion and some delays. I asked Centro Executive Director Frank Koblisky how he feels this first day is going.
I would say it's gone well. It hasn't been 100% perfect because, you know, some folks, you know, stand in the wrong place or didn't ask a question when maybe they should have. We've had some construction out on the interstate and on a couple of the main city arterials that have slowed some of the buses, which would have caused delays even if we were at Fayette and Salina Street. But I think it went very well.
Now, I talked with a number of riders about this facility. You know, they talked about some of the delays and some of the little confusion. Some of those new bus routes do have different arrival and departure times now. But overall, they seem generally pleased with this situation. Now, you recall when they dedicated this facility Friday before last, there was a protest by organizations for the disabled. One of their main complaints was a lack of adequate seating here. Well, it turns out, Centro tells me today, that they will now install 30 new seats here, so that'll bring it up to well over 70 seats in this facility, both indoor and outdoor. Now, one of the unusual things that's happened here, Lisa, is that Centro has basically emptied out its entire executive staff from their offices. They're all here answering questions that anybody would have about this new facility and where to catch the bus. Reporting live from Centro's new bus hub in downtown Syracuse, I'm Jim Kenyon.
The streets of downtown Syracuse are filled with Centro buses, and chances are you've seen some shiny new ones, which run on compressed natural gas, quite different from many of the older Centro buses, which are being replaced.
We received grant money, various federal grant monies over the past 3 to 4 years that we've kind of been saving up for the purchase of these buses, and we began rolling them out on the streets earlier this month, and all 56 will be on the road by like October 1st.
Each bus was about $430,000, and they cost significantly less to operate. And the new buses have been a hit among the customers.
They like them. They think that they're, you know, much better than especially the old 99s, so they're very pleased with them.
Along with the new buses came a new downtown hub and even new schedules, giving a new look to the Central New York company. All the new changes at Centro, however, will not bring a change in prices, something that riders like to hear.
Oh, that's good.
That's good that they're going to stay the same because I wouldn't want to pay more money to come down here and stand and wait for 2 hours for a bus.
No up the price. It's right.
In Syracuse, Joe Formusa, NCC News.
Centro buses have represented safety and reliability to the residents of Syracuse for many years.
It's more comfortable to be on the bus.
But yesterday, driver Rashid Muhammad rear-ended a Hyundai, pushing it into another car that was stopped at a light on the 400 block of South Salina Street. This was not due to slippery conditions or a missed red light. This was caused by alcohol.
What I seen is the bus that hit the back end of the guy's car, and after that, the police came and they took care of it.
3 of the people that were within that lead vehicle, the Buick, they complained of neck and back pain, so they were taken to Upstate Hospital as a precautionary measure.
In order to get behind the wheel of one of these buses, Centro maintains a 3-point drug and alcohol check system in order to maintain the safety of both the public and their drivers.
Anyone who applies for a job at Centro must pass a drug and alcohol test.
And as long as they are employed with Centro, they face the possibility of random drug and alcohol screening. It was mandatory for Rashid Muhammad yesterday.
And in cases where there are accidents that are involved, our drivers are subject to mandatory drug and alcohol testing as well.
Paul Correa rides these buses at least once a day, and with all these procedures in place, he is not letting this deter him from riding Centro again in the future, even after witnessing this accident. Are you still comfortable getting on a bus?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Things are going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
The newest highway funding bill from the U.S. Congress could take hundreds of millions of dollars in transportation aid out of New York State, and that could have a dramatic impact on the city of Syracuse and the Centro bus service.
Centro, Syracuse's public transportation provider, could lose $12 million in federal aid over 6 years due to the new highway funding bill currently approved by the U.S. House of Representatives. The House version of the bill would effectively remove $820 million in public transportation aid from New York State. Stephen Cagle, Director of Marketing and Communications for Centro, says that the loss of the funding assistance would be a major blow to Centro's operations.
Potentially, if this goes through and is approved and becomes part of the financial package for Centro, it would be devastating to us.
Devastating because, while Centro's operational costs are covered by ticket prices and other forms of revenue, it depends on federal aid for investments in hard capital.
It's money that we use to buy buses, buy bus shelters and hard goods for our systems.
A loss in federal funds could mean cuts to the operational budget and a delay in replacing older, high-mileage buses, a problem for the 23rd most impoverished city in America, where 20% of its residents either walk or use public transportation to commute to work.
While Centro services Syracuse University and the city, its reach is a little bit further.
And, you know, we provide service in Syracuse and Oswego, Auburn, Utica, and Rome. So it's a 4-county area. A lot of people rely on our services to get to and from work, to and from jobs, shopping locations, schools. We are a very vital cog in the communities that we serve.
Now that the bill has passed the House, it will go to a joint committee of senators and congressmen so that the final details can be ironed out. Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative John Katko have both resolved to keep transportation funding in upstate New York. Reporting live from downtown Syracuse, Ben Mitchell, NCC News.